Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of The Healer's Journey. I'm your host, Leisha Lee, creator of Empathy Empire. So happy to be here with y'all again for another episode. I'm super excited about this episode, y'all. We have a very special guest today to have a great conversation. Um, One of my favorite people. Everybody, she gets brought up in pretty much every episode. So let's go ahead and bring her out, my sister. Hey,
Hi.
Tor. How you doing?
We're doing that. Okay. I'm doing good. Thank you. Actually, a little
Good.
under the weather, so um
Yeah. Thanks
most
for
of that.
still joining us because I know it's probably not too comfortable, but I appreciate you joining me anyways.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So let's go ahead and get into it. Um, we have a lot that we can talk about in this episode. So we're gonna get started and kind of give people a little background on you. So what has been your role in healthcare and in HQ? We'll just start there.
Alrighty, that's a big question. But for the last like 5 years, my role in healthcare has been doing CNA work. Kind of jumped around a little bit. I was a medical assistant for a little while, but again, somehow the CNA work has come to find me. um, and so kind of just like with that, I know a lot of people already know what like CNAs do. Just kind of like assist people with the activities of daily living, kind of like get them going for their day, get them ready for appointments, like cleanly stuff, all that kind of thing. And with H3, I have recently become a board member and also secretary. And so I've been kind of like trying to juggle what it is to be a board member and also like what my roles are as like in a secretary role, and pretty much just trying to um, support Carla and Delia like the best I can while doing everything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. That's a lot. And I really admire your dedication to wanting to be a part of something bigger than just the work that we do already in our everyday life. Going back to the CNA work, just because I know more than everybody else, can you tell us a little bit about your experience being a CNA as far as like physically, mentally, emotionally, like how that journey has been for you?
The truth, or no, I'm just kidding. No, but all jokes aside, like I do love the work. I definitely think it takes a different kind of person to be able to consistently want to do this work.
Yes.
But as far as like, we'll start with the emotional part. As far as that goes, it really takes a lot of um, just checking in on myself, just because day to day a lot of the like staff to patient ratios can be a little off. I know there are several days like where I've had way more than my fair share of duties to do. um, and with that kind of being said, it can kind of wear and tear on you a little bit. I know there are some days where I'm like, I have to get out of bed again. I feel like I just crawled into bed and
Yeah.
and I had just worked a 12 or a couple 16s, and I'm like, oh, okay, life's still checking on. So like I have to. And so I feel like a little bit it can kind of try to like wear people down, especially like the more that you feel like you're in the environment. Um,
Hmm.
like full time is 3 days a week, but I know a lot of people have either two CNA jobs or are consistently like trucking out hours at their facility.
Hmm.
Um, and I see it a lot of places. I work with an agency, so I kind of go wherever there is a need, and there's always a need
Hmm.
somewhere. And so
Right.
I kind of just like fill in that gap, and you can kind of tell just like where when you're looking at where what gaps there are to fill in one facility to the next, you can kind of always see that trend of like tiredness, and it's really
Yes.
unfortunate. Yeah.
You work a lot of like overnight shifts. So it's not like, oh, I'm working just all day. It's no, I'm working through the night. Everyone
Yeah.
else is asleep. Like my body wants to be asleep right now, but I'm up helping
Yeah.
people. I'm fully awake. It's like what is that like?
Um, for the first couple of, I would say for the first year, I would say that I did not know what else to do besides work and sleep. And I mean that in the worst kind of way. Like I was like,
Yeah.
I'll sleep.
Yeah. What did
Like,
your self-care look like?
it didn't exist.
It didn't. It wasn't.
I'm not smiling because I'm proud of that, but I'm smiling because I was like in that cycle for a really long time.
Yeah.
And then not to mention when you do go in and the staffing is normally pretty short,
Mhm.
you end up pulling more than your fair share. And a lot of times, um, like you don't always have the equipment that's necessary to lift 2 to 3 times your body weight. You don't always have
Mhm.
the help to be able to do
Mhm.
things
And
like,
what happened with that? Because you got injured on the job, like, pretty
yeah,
badly.
yeah, I got
What
injured on the pretty bad about like I would say almost 2 years ago now. Um, and honestly, it's still something that I'm still kind of like getting through.
mm,
Um, again, it was just like a really unsafe environment, an unsafe transfer that I happened to like step into, and in the midst of trying to help out, there was just a lot of, how do I put this professionally, negligence that was going on. And so I ended up again having to lift 2 or 3 times my weight. And even with help, I still like strained several muscles in my back and chest. Um,
oof, yeah.
all while trying to like hold on to dear life because it was either this pain or like this patient probably won't be able to breathe. So I'm like, okay, you kind of
Uh,
roll with
and
me.
that's like a good segue into we are so it's either this person is not being taken care of or I'm not being taken care of. That's kind of how it goes when you're in healthcare. You kind of almost on a regular basis weigh the odds of this person being taken care of or me taking care of myself
Mm-hmm.
as a trend. And I think that's why the work that H Cube does is so important because every day for the most part we're faced with that kind of thinking of I can't really take too much care of myself because I have to go do this or I have to go do that or I have to help over here or they're short over here and only I can do, like,
Yeah.
it's too much. It's a lot. It's a lot. And we go into the work because we care. We
Mm-hmm.
care so much. And it's like, oh, I care. I have to do this. Like, I'm tired. I can't function. I can't really see that well, but I need to go in because who else is going to go in, you
The
know?
imposter syndrome is real. I'm like, I have to put on
Yeah.
this face, this mask that like I'm your ready helper at all times, and my
Yes,
only like therapy break is from this room, 10 steps to the next room, and I'm like,
exactly.
okay, like
Exactly.
what
That
can I help you
bathroom
with?
break does more than just the potty time. Like, you're
Yeah,
really
the
taking a
delayed
second.
bathroom breaks, the
Yeah.
lack of like meal breaks. I'm like, this is fine. Like eyeballs
Not
hanging
the eye
out.
twitch.
Yeah, it gets brutal.
So you and I joined at the same time. We were in cohort 2.
Hmm.
Um, and then it's just kind of shot through there. Like, we've stayed with H Cubed since last
Hmm.
summer, essentially. What what has that journey been like for you? Going through the cohort, getting the shoes, getting the wellness packages. What was that experience like for you after so many years of not having any self-care? What was that
Girl,
like?
going in, you were talking to Delia that day, and she was like talking with her all about. And I just remember we were like sitting in the same room while she was on the phone with you, and I was like, what? Is she for real? What's the catch? How much? How much? What's the entry fee? Like, how much do I have to? What do you need me to do? You need me to do something strange? No, but I was just like, what is there that is gonna pop up that's gonna make this moment feel like I knew it was too good to be true. But no, we got invited to the closing ceremony of cohort 1, and I think
Mhm.
that's when things really started to like click for me. Not just with how personal like Carla was getting with her story, how personal Delia was getting with their story, but even down to like their partnerships, like when they were speaking, I was just like, wow, dude, like everybody cares. Like when you unfortunately when you're in healthcare, you're walking around like, nobody cares. Like, what is going on? And so to have that complete switch, I was just like, okay, these are definitely people that I want to be around. Like, I'm pretty sure me and you teared up somewhere in that closing
Oh,
ceremony.
yeah, we've
I
cried
was
multiple
very
times. When
close.
it
Like,
comes
I
to
was like,
HQ, we cry. Tears have come from our eyes multiple
yeah, I'm
times when it
like,
comes to
this is
HQ. I've
uncomfortable
lost
because I
count.
know I'm gonna cry at some
Yeah.
point. But
Oh,
but
for
yeah,
sure.
so like kind of just like having that, like, it was almost like those golden gates. They just kind of, the door opened and it was just like all the gold light, and you're like, what's going on? Let me go look though. And so like you go look and you find
And you
out
look
like,
inside and you're like, and it's like, it's a community. And you're like,
no, really, I'm like, they want you to do better. You're like, heal yourself, take time. And you're like, whoa.
right.
And so I think just from, I was already like tied in when I had seen how everybody in cohort 1 was, and everybody in cohort 1 was like super awesome too. We didn't even get to like talk with them much, but then going into our own cohort program, again, cried day one. Mark, and girl, he got me good,
Mark was
and
no joke.
he knew
It was
exactly what he was
no
doing.
laughing
I was
matter.
like, at all, like, what? That's so serious. Yeah. And so it was just like the levels of like almost like awakening, like, oh, I could be doing better. Oh, I could be doing better. And not in a way that, it wasn't delivered in a way of like, oh, you're doing awful for yourself. It was just like,
Mm-hmm.
here are outlets for you to use. Here are so many
Yeah.
outlets for you to
Here's
use. And I
some
was just like,
tools.
yeah, like things that I was just like, that makes sense. I see why people who do that could possibly heal some stuff.
Yeah.
And so we kind of went through that. And it was just in the several different outlets, whether it was like the packages that they're offering, whether it was like the clothes, shoes that they gave us that I literally still wear faithfully to this
I had mine
day.
on yesterday. I went for a
Everybody
walk
knows
and
I'm
it was
girly who
amazing.
doesn't like shoelaces, so the slip-ons are where it's at, and
Literally.
on and gone, on and
Mm-hmm.
gone. But I still use those to this day. And when I was looking up like the clothes shoes, those things weren't cheap. Like I was like, how much? I would have spent a third of that for my shoes and just been in pain for 3 more
Literally.
years. So they showed
I
me
love
the
those
importance of
shoes.
foot care.
I love those shoes. So
Yeah.
what was like the biggest difference from before HQ to after? Let's say after cohort.
I would just say the way, because I had always like been trying to be in like a practice even before H3 of like having grace with myself. But I
Mm-hmm.
think the shift was I knew now how to apply it and what kind of grace that like my body truly needed. And it
Yeah.
was literally like time, rest,
Mm-hmm.
like help with
Yes.
bodily function things, like
Yes. I
basic
like
care
how,
needs.
so we were already kind of on like a spiritual kind of path, right? And then we
Mm-hmm.
meet Mark and we go through the cohort and it was okay, spirituality is nice. Let's be practical. What is really going on? Like, are you really paying attention to what your body is doing and those things that we don't really pay attention to? Why it's the whole, like when you're sitting there, he got everybody with that, like crossing the arms and being closed off. Like we all say, like, I'm
I was
cold,
like,
I'm
what are you doing, eyeball?
uncomfortable. And I was like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like,
Yeah, I was like, mm-mm. No, you don't know me like you say you do. Like,
exactly.
you tried
I
to
like
make
that we got that, the practicality of what, because you and I were already on kind of like that spiritual journey.
yeah.
So then getting his feedback and learning from him was it just opened it up even more. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I can use these things. I can like pay attention to more things throughout the day and get better
Mm-hmm.
and take better care of myself.
Like how I'm feeling sounds
Yeah,
awful.
yeah, mine was what was mine, like literally asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't think that that would need to be a conversation, but that's where my tears came. Like,
Yeah.
no, you're supposed to ask you for help. What do you mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
why would I need to work on that?
Yeah, definitely.
so so I love that we got to do it together too, because
Mm-hmm.
we're so close and we already talk about so many things. So then to go through that journey together, it was like, she does need to work on that. I do need to work on that.
I
So
was
we
like,
got
ooh,
to
he knows you.
no, for real. I was like, oh, he got her with that one.
He sure did. It was like, can I just have one of these where I'm not crying, please? Thank you. It was a lot. It was a lot, but
It
I guess
was great. I'm so thankful for it though, because the growth, oh my gosh, it
yeah.
has been amazing. I'm so grateful. So let's move on. The retreat. Let's talk about the retreat,
Okay, yeah.
because we went through cohort 2 and then 1 and 2 came back for the retreat. Like
Mhm.
let's come together, let's really build a community. And I really loved that. What was your experience like through that whole thing? those 3 days?
For me, I don't know if y'all know, I'm a nervous gal. The nerves try to attack me constantly. So like a lot of the days, like when we were getting up, I was like, I just don't know what today's gonna have. I'm uneasy. I'm tight, tense. I don't know. But it's like everything that we did, everything that we talked about, like over whether it was just instantaneously after having some sort of conversation or overdoing like some like exercise or hearing someone else's stuff like journey, I was able to like really like unwind a little bit just because I then realized I'm not in a space where I feel like I'm being attacked by people's judgments. It was just very
Yeah.
open. It was very receptive, and it was like a really understanding, calm space, which I don't get too many of those ever.
Mhm.
Like even you could try to be like at the house and alone, and like the dogs will like harp every like 5 minutes, and you're like,
Mhm.
oh my god, okay, this is what we're
Mhm.
doing. But it's just like it's like this space where I was able to not only just kind of like physically unwind, but just mentally like have my place to just say my piece. And I don't think
Mm.
a lot of people understand how powerful, and on top of that, like being heard, how like powerful that can be.
Yeah, I don't think it gets enough credit. Like, just being a safe space, an open space for people,
Yeah.
it's so powerful because the whole 3 days was very powerful. It was set up very nicely. It was very
Yeah.
nicely organized and thought out. Like there
Mm-hmm.
was so much thought that was put into who presented, what we talked about, the way we sat, sitting in the
Mm-hmm.
circle. Like even the little things like that were planned out, and I really
Yeah.
loved all of the thought and love that went into it.
And I
Motto
think
was amazing.
yeah, we would have like all day scheduled out, and then we would still like accidentally run over time. Sorry guys, but like you know what I mean, like it was just that welcoming. Like there was never like anything that we did that we were like, all right, now what? Like it was just like it
Yeah,
all just like flowed, and we were like, okay, we have to take a break. You guys need a break.
literally.
Go do something and come back, and we'll be here. So it's just like,
I
oh,
love how we went over time on almost everything because we all just wanted to like talk and share and give our point. Or with the affirmations, we took like 45 minutes for two people and they were like, we didn't plan for this.
yeah, we were like,
We
actually, we're gonna have
didn't
to go
expect
back to
so
the
much
drawing
love.
board. Yeah, like you guys are too caring. Oh no, like yeah.
I love it. I love that whole experience. Um, so let's move on because you got a lot going on. Can you also have guided revival, and you also work with HQ doing the community classes. So can you kind of give a little info on guided revival and then working with Carla in the community and how that came to be?
Yeah, so really the whole like I don't know how to say vision of this whole like partnership, um that whole ball started rolling at the end of cohort 2,
Yeah.
and that's when like that was our group, and it was a smaller group, and
Shout out
it
to
was the day
cohort
we were getting our
2.
headshots. Yeah, it was when we were getting our headshots that day, and we were just like, dude, like, how can we help? Here's what we've got to offer. We see what you have to offer, and I think Carla just really heard me and heard what it was that I wanted to do, just like to help people who like just constantly help people. One, like there's always
Literally.
that bottom line, but then
Literally.
like to another level of help people who look like me, who look like my mom, who look like my sisters, um, who are, I wouldn't want to say purposefully undereducated, but I mean that's in the system. Like they're not taught maybe like the
Underserved
same
for
thing,
sure.
of course, and it's just like these are things that like everybody should know, but there's a group of people who unfortunately look like me, look like my family, and my everybody knows my family. It's like a big old melting pot of just culture,
The gradient.
and they are at higher risk of not only having these like cardiac incidents happen, but they're also at elevated death like rates. So it's like, okay,
Hmm.
let's do something about this. And I think immediately, Kyla just kind of like latched onto what I was saying and made me feel like, though I was just getting started, that like that was important. That that's something that
Hmm.
was needed and that there was a need. And no, I'm not going crazy. And there are people who are out there who would be willing to support a mission like that.
So
And so I,
what is the mission? Can you kind of, for people who don't know?
yeah, like my mission is to pretty much just again target the underserved Black and Brown communities with giving out these classes that can help you with cardiac arrest. We just recently like added in the naloxone training, so that's helping with like opioids and
Oh,
overdosing and
nice.
stuff like that. So it's like we're building, not only building the curriculum to be able to give people more within a certain time frame, but
Mhm.
being able to help equip themselves with more tools that they're elevated risk to face. And so
Mm.
really that's my part of the mission, is wanting to target the underserved communities and empower them, like show them how
Yeah.
simple, not simple, but like how
No,
our
you do
lives,
make it
like the
really
facts.
simple. Like,
Yeah, I
Josh and
try.
I came to that class and I was like, "Oh, she is good at this." Like, this was fun, interactive. Like, you were so helpful. Like, you answered every question that everybody had. And you
Thank
just
you.
made it a very open space for people to like learn, and because you do
Hmm.
it in front of other people and it's like sometimes that's like, "Oh god, they're watching me." Oh, crap.
For a
But
second, yeah.
you make it comfortable so people can really learn. Like it was a really good class. Like if you're in Kansas City, please pay attention to when the next class is because they're so good. They're so informational also. So
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think I remember just how it was when I was learning CPR. Love you, Miss Stephanie. She scared the living crap out of me, and
yeah.
she would be like, you would do something, she'd be like, wrong, and I'm like, oh god, like, but it like she scared me into learning the material. But I was
Oh,
like, I don't want to make people feel like that at all. Again, Miss Stephanie, I hope you watch this, and if you
oh,
are,
she taught
love
you
you.
well. She taught you well.
Yeah, she did. So yeah.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so what does it look like moving forward? Because you have guided revival also. Don't forget to, I'm shouting you out. Guided revival. You got different packages to help people get certified. Um, and what does that look like? What kind of
Yeah,
different packages do
so
you have?
with my packages at least, I know a lot of the times like what I try to do is kind of make it more accessible to people. So not everybody can pay $100, which is the normal going rate for a CPR class. So I try to at least lower the costs, lower those barriers to accessibility, whether it be the community that you're in, whether it be the amount of money that you may have. We've got different options. Like if you were to sign up through what me and Carla do, you can get like a free community class. Of course, that's a non-certified class,
Mhm.
but still the exposure is the part that is the life-saving part. It's not that little piece of
Right.
paper with your name on it.
Exactly.
Like you can have that and you can still not know what to do if you didn't pay enough attention.
Exactly.
So it's like it's the effort and time that you take into learning. But for those who are looking to certify, just because I also am looking to target healthcare professionals, because a lot of times like us CNAs, we're undercompensated. You got your BHTs, like your transport people, like you've got so many different like entry level roles that don't do entry level work and get entry level pay. And like
Mhm.
by entry level pay, I mean you can make something as a CNA and then go to like Culver's and see their managers or like associates are making like $2
Mm.
more, and you're like, ouch, okay. So it's
Ah,
like when you've got that,
hurt.
like it hurts bad. And it's like when you've got all those things going against you and you're trying to provide for your family on minimum wage, you're working so many hours. I try to discount my prices so that way I can still make a
Mhm.
living, but we're able
Yeah.
to hopefully approach more people. And when they hear about the price, they're like, oh, okay, this is a little more feasible for me. Let me take this
Mhm.
route. But then I always do plug the Carla route because I'm like, it's fun. There's a lot of people and
Yeah.
it's free. So there's that as
Yeah.
well.
Speaking of Carla, thank you, Sylvia, Carla's sister, Sylvia. Thanks for
Sisters.
educating our Black and Brown community in first response to be able to help our loved ones, which with families and friends, and that hits really close to home. Like Carla and Sylvia have their story, we have our story in our family. Like
Yeah.
there's there's so much that we don't pay attention to, like the little things, like
Hmm.
knowing CPR.
Yeah.
Black and brown families are they're at a higher risk of
Hmm.
having heart troubles and things at home, right?
Yeah, especially at home, like outside of the workplace, like.
And how educated are we in being able to respond and help? Not very. Like, we are very underserved and undereducated in a lot of things. And
Mm-hmm.
that is probably something that we should pay more attention to. So I love that you do what you do, and you and Carla have come together to say, hey, this is a need that
Mm-hmm.
no one's really talking about. Let's kind of fill this gap where we can and be
Yeah.
available to people in our community. And I really love that. Um, our tech support's gonna need your website link so people can kind of can check you out.
Oh, right now.
So, no, when you get a chance,
Okay.
we can post it later so people can see.
Okay. I was like,
Um, no, let me get it real quick.
not right now. Okay.
Um, yeah. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. I do want to say thank you to our funders. So we've got Kaufman Health Forward Foundation, and then I think Kansas Health Foundation. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to get the cohorts, the wellness packages, and really start building the community, because H Cubed is doing wonderful things. Like, as you can see from this conversation, we're educating the community. We're taking care of people who take care of the people in the community, which is really important and not a lot of people talk about. So I just wanted to say that. Moving forward, um, do you have anything going on? Do you have H Cube? Oh, we have the fundraiser. Actually, are you
Mm-hmm.
going to be there Saturday?
Yeah, I should be.
I'm so excited. So we still have the raffle going on, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, $25 a raffle. You get to go in for a raffle to get either an Evolve massage
Mm-hmm.
and I believe red light therapy. And then at the Leia Center, there's cryotherapy and is it another red sauna therapy? They're back to back. Y'all, these services are amazing and they're worth way more than $25. Even if you don't get picked, though, you're giving to a really good cause. As you can see, H Cube does a lot of great work for healthcare workers. And even if you can't, uh, just come support, learn about H Cubed, come mingle with us. It is a wonderful group of people. Just to even be associated with, like, the connections, the people in the group, the ambassadors, amazing people. Like, just they're just big hearts walking around. Like,
On their
I don't know,
sleeve, like.
literally both sleeves. That's how loving they are.
Yeah.
Carlos says our partnership is vital for sure. We are committed to filling the health disparity gap in our Black and Brown communities. So dedicated. I love it. I love that H Cubed was created and then it just keeps expanding with more people who believe in the mission, who want to see H Cubed do well, who want to help take care of other healthcare workers. And I can see this going really far and being in other communities. And I'm super excited that we are a part of it. Okay, my last question. What has it been like going through all of this with your sister?
No, I'm just kidding.
Don't be funny.
I would say definitely makes going through things. Sorry, I'm getting work congested. Um, definitely makes things a lot um easier because like one, you have like that sense of like familiarity. Like, okay, I'm not doing it
Mhm.
alone. Whatever happens to me is gonna happen to her, so I'm fine. Um, and that's how I gotta look at it some days. But really, it just kind of like I would say before the cohort program, I kind of always had you like in this like box of like how I perceive you and like
Mhm.
the like, just the things like we do share a lot with each other, but of course I don't see like everything.
Mhm.
And so I think going through the cohort program definitely opened up like a little back door of like a whole different perspective on like your softer side and like, oh, okay, so she's not, don't start. Um, she's a big old softy, y'all. We already know this. No,
I
but it
am.
just kind of like helped me, I guess, see you in a different light to where I'm like, okay, like when you think of like big sister, you think of just like the stronger, like support, like rock,
Mhm.
whatever. Like you never, and like not in like any selfish kind of way, but you're never like, oh, I wonder what like it's going on that she's not showing me. And so it was
Mhm.
like, not that like you weren't like you were keeping things away, but it's just like, oh, okay, it's just a nice like pullback, like, oh, we've all been neglecting our needs. And so
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's good to see you in that light too, just because like um I don't always get to see that side. And then on top of that, like, it does give me a better view of like what it is that you're shouldering, what it is that you're dealing with. And so being able to kind of go through all of it and know that I feel really supported, just like how I feel personally about like the cohort and the
Mhm.
experience, knowing that you also are getting like a taste of this, especially like coming from where we come from. It's a little more few and far in
Yeah.
between to have that like
Yeah.
extra support. And so I was like, for one, it was like so foreign to me. And so I was like, this is awesome. Oh my God. But then it was just like, oh my God, you see it too.
Yeah.
Like, it just gave us like another thing to kind of like talk about. And like, just, I guess, like more opportunities to show up in more of our own like passionate ways before we get to
Mhm.
help other people. Like, I was like, oh, my sister's a like behavioral health tech, she like case manager, she's um the homeless youth like advisor. Like, I'd see like, I'd be like, oh, she cares about people, look at her job titles. But it's like, oh, look what she's going through also. Like,
Oh,
these
yes.
are like different
Oh.
things that
Mhm.
she's not just holding these roles, she's being put through things while she's in these roles. And being able to
Mhm.
kind of see that too. Like, I did see a little bit when we were at Pride Haven. That was, I definitely got to see firsthand what you were
That
going
was an
through.
experience, y'all. That was an
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, and shout out to Pride Haven, for sure. But yeah, that
Oh,
was like one
talk
of the first
about
times I had gotten to see that like different light, and then kind of just seeing it again, like, man, yeah, like we relate in even more things now, and I didn't even
Mhm.
realize it to the extent that we were. So
Yeah. So crazy. You always trying to be like me. We just out here trying to help people. That's crazy how you just grow up and want to be like me. But
it
anyways,
was
I
me
love
doing
this.
CNA way before anything else.
Um, Delia said, I love the set of siblings, couples, and the culture of family that y'all bring to the org. It's pretty dope. It is really dope. And I mentioned that in the retreat. I loved that I got to see um Josh get loved on and you get loved on and just be brought in everything was organized and the way that it was so open and safe for everyone to talk and
Mhm.
share, um give and receive love. It was so beautiful. The sister peer-to-peer support, I love it.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I love it. Sherry, we proud of us. We're here being peer-to-peer support. I love it.
No, for real.
um
It made it worse. Anytime I saw you crying, I was like, "Oh God,
no, literal literally
shoot me!"
literally. Well, for me, it's anytime anyone cries, I'm like,
I know. I was like,
what?
"Oh,
Oh, come
duh.
here, give me a hug. Like,
Yeah, bring it in." Like,
bring it
like,
in.
I even
Literally.
still have like the little note cards we wrote to each other at the end
Me
of like
too.
H3. I'm like, "Oh, I'm having a bad day." Like flipping through
Like,
them.
little cards. I love it.
Literally,
I
I'm
think that
like,
was the
oh.
point of them. That was
Yeah,
such a good idea. Those affirmation cards at the end, it was like, wow, this really like it was like tying the bow at the end. Like that was exactly.
yeah,
It was perfect. And we really started to build a community. And
yeah,
that's what I really like. It wasn't just like, oh, okay, this was nice. Bye, y'all. And then we out. Like, it was like, no, we have our group chat. We have the social media posts. We have more events coming up that people are participating in where they can, busy healthcare workers, but doing more because we see what HQ is doing and we love it so much and we want to help during that process. Oh, nice. We got a wellness journal club coming in June. I forgot about that. I love that.
yeah.
I love that. It continues. It's not just one thing
It's not your one
and
stop
then
shop.
gone.
It's just like, hey, here's
Exactly.
continuous outlets. Like, yeah, like it's just like it doesn't end. Like the love and
Exa-
support doesn't stop.
the love that never
Okay,
ends.
it goes on, my friend, because it is always like
Oh,
something new in a good way. But yeah,
exactly. All right, y'all. Join us, please, at Cafe Corazon on Southwest Boulevard in the Crossroads on Saturday, 5/11, between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. I think we're going to do the raffle. We're going to pull the raffle around like 12, I think. So you have a little bit of time on Saturday, too, to get more tickets. Yeah, 12:30 is when they'll be announced. And then also they have a drink called I Am Sustained, and part of those proceeds will go towards H cubed. I think it's like a mango drink. It's pretty good. Everybody that I saw drink it loved it. So go get a drink, go talk, get more information. Just show some support. They're doing really great things over here at H Cube. So please come out. Tori, thank you so much. I have enjoyed this conversation immensely.
Thanks for having me, especially while I'm sick.
Thanks, Sticky Icky. We love it.
Ew.
You have been brought up in like every episode prior to you being on the episode. I was like, oh, she's like the most loved ambassador.
No, I loved them all. Every time I was watching it, I was just kicking my feet like, look at that. Especially, oh my god. Yeah, especially the other day, your last live had me so weak.
Oh.
I was like, what are y'all even talking about now? No, it was so funny though. I was watching that one. I think I had only missed one just due to outside circumstances.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely all love, all support, love them dearly. Especially everybody who got to really just like really hit hard with cohort 3. And like I was like, cohort 2 is the best. And I'm like, cohort 3 is the best. Like
the retreat absolutely was. It blew everything out of the water. It was like, wow. Oh, y'all care about me. Like,
yeah, it's like stop.
Oh, this is a real love. I love it.
Yes.
But okay, we're gonna head out of here. Do you have any socials or anything people can follow you on?
I will send that website link here soon for everybody to be able to look
You can
at.
find her on TikTok.
Oh, look, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, y'all found it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you so much. We got great tech support over here, y'all. H Cube does it all. Let me tell you. They about that life. Seriously.
For sure.
Okay, thank you so much. This has been another episode of The Healer's Journey. And today, two sisters just navigating healthcare and self-care, y'all. We was struggling before H Cube came along. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. It was serious. But thank you so much. We will see y'all Saturday. Please be there.
9 to 1.
9 to 1. Come get a drink. Be part of the raffle. Other than that, we will see you at the next episode of The Healer's Journey. Thank you so much.